Good morning and thanks for tuning in. Holly Shields here for Kalkine TV. Welcome you all to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. This show where we bring to industry leaders, successful business owners and market experts all under one roof to help you discover the latest insights. Today we're fortunate enough to be joined by Mr Prashant Gami, CEO and founder of xEnabler, an ideal digital transformational partner. Welcome to the show, Prashant. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on. Now, first of all, let's talk investment. What are some of the emerging investment trends you've noticed in tech companies?
So, in tech companies, as you can see, climate tech is really picking up after the latest climate report that got published. So, a lot of sustainability and climate tech companies are coming forward in how to go carbon neutral, everything. Fintech is also a big player with buy now, pay later, and micro investment platforms that is also picking up. And with Australian workforce struggling to get workforce in the health tech sector is probably the largest sector that will be emerging in Australia.
Right, it's really interesting predictions there. And it's interesting as well that you mentioned climate tech, which is something that I'm sure many people won't be familiar with just at the moment.
Yeah.
Are there any companies you can think that are sort of exemplary of climate tech in your opinion?
Uh, Climate tech is quite new, and there are a lot of companies that are trying to get into it. Mostly like earning money on your carbon neutral projects. So things like if you have solar panel or battery or electric vehicles or anything, you can. There are companies emerging who can basically give you credit based on that, and those trends are coming up. There are few startups across. Mike is leading few of them. Phil Morley from Pollenizer is leading few of them as well, and the number of other players from Atlassian founders, they are also involved in a couple of those startups. Yes.
That's really interesting to hear. A lot of activity obviously going on in the startup space, and hopefully that climate tech sector is one that emerges as well. Now, what do you consider the indications of growth in the tech space?
So currently, climate tech and those companies are long term. If you are looking for long term investment, but if you are in a short term investment over the next 3 years because of COVID and the change in the workplaces, anything that does with the data or virtualization are probably the stocks to look after. So indications would be if the company is doing Zoom is a classic example that went skyrocketed because of the COVID and all need of the virtual platforms. And there are similar platforms who are delivering services virtually are coming very strong this year, and it will continue over the next year.
Right, and is that sort of in line with the greater trend of digitisation, do you think?
It is. So, as Forbes mentioned recently in their article as well, that digitization, datafication, and virtualization are probably the immediate trend that will drive the tech sector growth.
Right, absolutely fascinating to hear about those trends in the sector. And in your opinion, which transformative tech solutions are helping businesses in the recouping phase of the ongoing pandemic?
So digitization and real-time data is probably one of the critical changes that happened because of COVID and will continue to happen. I don't think we were paying attention to real-time data like the COVID cases in your area or the restrictions, and that was as prominent as before the pandemic era, and it will continue to see the local news and local up-to-date real-time information, and for that the real-time data is very important factor, aggregating all the data across the sources and making them available to the user in a useful manner. Those are a very good indicator that will help, like getting through the pandemic period. Virtualization, as I mentioned, all the services we are seeing, like many of our clients, they are trying to create the um, virtual peer of their services. So even the networking and virtual events are big. There are a lot of startups that came in and started that kind of initiatives, and they're going big as well.
Absolutely. And it seems like, as a matter of fact, consumers have actually come to expect being able to use real-time data integrated into these
Yes.
services. Would you agree?
Yes, totally. And social selling is also becoming a big thing. So, because of the restrictions, we are buying online more and more. And that whole experience of, like, how to make it social, how to make it like you are going to the mall in a virtual way, or the virtual fitting rooms, etc. The technologies that are helping you find the right fit, or technologies that are helping you to, like, buy from the influencers or from your friend circle, that those are reliable sources. Facebook, as you can see, is transforming the way businesses are connecting and promoting their brands. So those trends are really picking up due to this pandemic and whole change terrain as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's obviously all under the umbrella there of the boom in e-commerce, which we've been obviously
Yes,
seeing quite a
definitely.
lot during the pandemic.
Yeah, true. That's true. And as you can see, even though we are open now in Sydney, particularly, and people are going back face to face a little bit, and we are obviously looking to networking events, but I'm pretty sure they will be very different to what they used to be before, and it will remain like that over the next year. So, virtualization will be a big part of our life.
I can imagine so. That'll be the case for a good few years to come at least. Now, just to touch on xEnabler again, which industry would you say the majority of your clients belong to, and why is this the case?
So, along with the trends, fintech and health tech are our biggest clients, because with the fintech, the millennial needs of, like, platforms like Afterpay and buy now pay later, they're becoming large boom. Also, to solve the supply chain problem, where you can secure the money at the sale time and then take care of all the finance later on. That is also becoming big. So solutions like BizPay, Afterpay, the number of solutions coming in that space, digital wallet, cryptocurrencies, they're transforming the market like anything. So that is one of the biggest sector that we are seeing in our client base. And the other one is health tech, where the need of sensors and IoT devices, and how health tech can be provided remotely and also more effectively with less human involvement, because of our skill shortage in the sector, and growing older population in Australia is very important. So those two sectors are leading the way at the moment in our client sector, and I think in the industries as well.
I completely agree there. And both those sectors that you mentioned, health tech and fintech, are growing at rapid rates as well, and heading towards digitization much faster than other sectors.
Yes, that's true.
Definitely. And continue.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah, I mean, again, I think because of the pandemic, the digital transformation has accelerated. So the companies are turning more to the technology to solve their day-to-day business problem, and it is accelerated at a quite fast rate, which we are seeing in the skill shortage as well. Like currently, if you are trying to secure a tech talent, it's a very big struggle in the market, and that is actually going global in a true sense.
Absolutely. I think the correlation of the job market is something that can't be ignored, and it's something that digitization is definitely aiding in some respects. Although, just before we wrap up now, I understand you've delivered a phenomenal 200 plus projects in the last decade. Which proven process and innovative strategy has worked in your favor?
Thank you for that, by the way. And like largely, we deal with innovation space, and inherently that field is risky. So risk is a very deep ingredient of the process, and that means the honesty, transparency, and collaboration are very key important fact, because more than often things go wrong or they don't work out. And if everybody is across it in the early stage, it makes it more manageable and successful in the end. And that has worked for us, and I'm sure for most of the companies that are out there.
Very well said there, and a great way to sum up. On that note, it's just about all we have time for at the moment, but I've got to say thanks so much for joining us today. It's been great to hear insights.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
pleasure to have you on. And viewers, if you've just joined us, we've had a stellar discussion with Mr Prashant Gami of xEnabler. You can catch this edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks on the Kalkine channel later today. But for now, thanks for your time and stay tuned to Kalkine TV for more live updates.